Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Swift Sprite Super Quattro FB. This is the dealer special Accord 820. These are a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the van as if you were coming on or off site. So let's start. So started off, you have black hitch shed here with black lever, which you have to have pulled up. Then you wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow bar, snap down that handle, push up that red button and expose a green ring. You have your red breakaway cable just here. If you have an eye point, it has to be used. If not, wrap it around the tow bar. You have your handbrake here, which you just disengage and engage by pressing up and down. And then you do have 13-pin electric. So if your tow vehicle does have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. Then you have your jockey wheel just here, which you can pull up using that handle. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back. You have inserts for your legs. The caravan itself will come with a leg winder, or you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs. They are simply used for stabilisation. First, level using your jockey wheel, then put down all 4 corner steadies. Now today we are using our test equipment, so as you can see here, I have a red propane gas bottle. I'd always recommend propane over butane just because it has a better performance in the colder months. Now black gas hoses will run through 5 years. As you can see, this one is dated 2025. I connect it onto the actual bottle itself and then onto the regulator. Hand tighten that as much as you can and then just nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight as there is an O-ring inside which can put excessive pressure on it, causing it to crack and break, leading to gas coming out. They do also have this yellow toggle. Have it facing down to allow the gas to come through and switch it to the side to not allow any gas in at all. You do also have 2 holsters for gas bottles which will fit 6 kilograms. Now, I'm not running water through today as it is rather cold and we don't want anything freezing over. But as you can see, this is your outlet for your water pump and this is the pump itself. To remove it, you press in on the trigger and pull out, and then to insert it, you just press in. You have this blue top to go with the top of the act roll to ensure no nastiness gets in. And then at the bottom, we have your strainer. It's crucial that the strainer sits at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come through. Now, as you can see, they do have a bit of a tendency to curl up. My recommendation is to get yourself a bit of PVC tubing or even like a bit of old hose pipe to essentially, you know, keep it nice and straight, because it is essential that strainer sits at the bottom of the barrel as it can lead to coughs, gasps and splutters. Lots of in that sentence. And just here we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. And just here we have your battery locker. This example doesn't have a leisure battery fitted. However, if you need a battery, my recommendation is anywhere between 100 to 110 amps. And when you come to installing it, you have your terminals just here, which you'll either need a 12 or 13mm spanner. They can never make up their mind. Then just here we have your plug-in for your mains. Mains plugs in nice and easy. Then you have a little cutout to be able to lock up the locker. And then just behind it, you do also have your point for your ignition on your motor mover. Below we have your 2 points where your wastewater will come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipes to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. Then lastly, we have your toilet functions for the outside. So just here we have your cassette toilet. To remove this, press up on the orange handle and pull out just like so. Now this handle does also extend out and up and can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. Then once you're at your particular area on site, twist that head to the side, open up that capacity, and what you want to do is tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing your red button. Now my recommendation to make it smell a bit nicer, open up this capacity and twist that there, feed in some fresh water, give it a bit of a shake, and again tilt and vent. Then on this cap here, you have measurements of both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, twist the head in, push that in, and push the cassette in so that orange handle sits behind those white teeth, so then it can't be removed without pressing up the handle. And just up above, we have your flush tank. The flush tank itself can hold around 12 litres of water. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10, as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add a bit of pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. Now, you don't want to travel with either of these two capacities full, so just here, have a little bung to drain out that part there. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Then underneath your right hand side seat, you have your flow jets, which is what will be able to pull through the water into the boiler. You have this yellow switch here, which is connected to these blue leads. So the blue leads is where the water is going to come through, and that is your drain valve. When it's in the vertical position as it is now, that is in drain mode, meaning any water in the system will be drained out, and that is how you will also collect it. November to March, have it up permanently unless you're actively using the van, and when you do come to use it, just flick it over. Then just here you have your battery charger. On the top we have your heating and hot water illuminated, as well as your charger, showing that they're both active and working. You then have a reverse polarity button if you ever go abroad, and a complete system shutdown button. I'll zoom out, that's quite annoying. And then you have your trips and your fuses. All your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position. I would also recommend carrying some extra fuses inside the van. And if you do need a little bit more information on your trips and fuses, you can pull down this panel and it exposes a bit of info. And just here we have your Swift command board. So this is essentially an iPad version of your main control system. So at the top it shows the internal and external temperature, so you can see why I'm not drawing water through today. You've got humidity, date, time, which it isn't currently 12 minutes past 8 in the evening, but you can select the correct time in the settings, which I'll show you, and the leisure battery charge. So first up, you have your pump button. Whatever you press, there will be a border that comes up. As I'm not running water through today, what you would do is you press the pump button, make sure you have your drain valve in the correct position, and you'd come over to your tap. Now, my recommendation is to wait about 2 to 3 minutes to allow the water to come through, and open up your taps on both cold and hot. You want to let it run for about 30 seconds, and what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream. There may be the odd cough and splutter, but that is due to the pressure in the system, especially if you haven't used the caravan in a long period of time. So you let that run for about 30 seconds. Coming back to this, pressing awning light, and you can see the yellow border comes on. So step outside, see awning light on just there, and hitting my head, fantastic. Then we have lighting, so press in on the lighting and you come to these two. So we have dimmer 1 and dimmer 2. So I press in on the off on dimmer 2, dimmer 1 even, and then I can also dim the lights. So I'll press down, so you'll see it gradually go down there and gradually get darker and darker, and now we'll go up and it gets lighter and lighter. And dimmer 2 is for the front. Then we have power. So right now it says 14.1 volts are coming from the leisure battery, and so there isn't a leisure battery on this caravan. This is what's coming from the mains. Whenever you have mains plugged in, that will show the amount coming from only the mains lead. When you just have battery on, that will show the amount coming from there. You then have the amount from solar and nothing from vehicle at the moment. It will always show a little bit coming through no matter what. You then have your AC current, which you can also set a limit for. Then we have settings. So press in, you have time, date, day, screen brightness, screen timeout, and some pairing for Bluetooth, as well as key beep. You press in on key beep, and whatever I press, it will then make a noise. Now you can also access additional settings by pressing and holding down, and it will come to this screen here. So the bits on red, I would recommend keeping red, because those are modules to be able to connect the heater and the fridge, but usually when you have them connected, it can cause other bits to trip out, but that's some additional settings there as well. So I press that in and then I'm off. Then lastly, it's radio. So for the radio, you do have a radio module just here, which has an aux plug-in, but this is essentially a digital radio. So you have your volume, some presets, some tuning and scanning, and then your mode. So you either have FM, DAB, aux, or off. Okay, and then when you want to completely turn this module off, you press and hold on this button here. Then just here we have your trimmer control panel. So turn this on, you press in this button, which is also a dial, press it in and it will come to the screen. So first up, you have the caravan with the thermometer in. This is for the internal temperature of the caravan you desire. Goes up to a maximum of 30. Whatever you set it to, it will get to that temperature in around about an hour. You can also see there the little flame symbol. That means that the heating is now on. Next up, we have water heat. So we can either have it eco, which again you can see it go above the line, hot, which will get it to about 60, eco gets it to about 40, or boost. Now what boost does, it prioritizes the water over the heating of the actual caravan for around about 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes, it will then drop it back down to eco. If I don't press in on the dial and just use the back button, you can see it doesn't set. Next, we have energy source. So we can either have gas, a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt, mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt, strictly electric with 1, or strictly electric with 2. So you do have the choice of either gas mains or a mixture of both. So today, I'm going to select electric 2, and you can see 2 lightning bolts. Then lastly, we have your fan icon. So this either has eco or high. Now, eco is a nice steady boost because what you have is a series of vents across the caravan which will push out the air. Eco is nice and steady, high is a bit more vigorous. However, let's say I have no heating on. It won't give me the option for eco or hot. It will either give me off or vent. Now what vent does, it just pushes the air across the caravan. So you'd have your windows open and it would allow it to circulate through. Next we have a timer. So you just select the time that you'd like the heating to start, and then you select the time you'd like it to stop. So if you're away from the caravan for a little bit of time, it just means that you're not using either mains or, you know, anything else, wasting essentially. Then we have the correct time. So it's currently not 11 minutes past midnight. You just select the correct time when you come in. It will reset itself if you turn off the panel. Then spanner icon is your additional settings. Not going to go through them. However, if you'd like to have a look inside your book pack, please do so. Now, naturally, this screen is going to fade off to green. However, it will still be on. However, if you want it completely off, no heating or hot water at all, press and hold in on the middle dial, come up, it will say off, and you can see when I press in, nothing works. To turn it back on, press and hold on the dial. And just here we have your toilet, which is bog simple. So pressing this button here, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push around any water inside the system. Then to remove your waste, where are you? You've got a little handle here, press it away, opens up your catch, pull it back towards you to be able to remove the cassette. When the cassette is full, there'll be a red light on there telling you go and empty. Then just here we have your hob, grill and oven. So all of this is operative of gas. So all you do, press in the dial, twist it to the side and press in your igniter. Now naturally these may light up and then cut itself out when you first initially turn on. That is just the gas naturally making its way through its system. Just reignite and it will all work. So this is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see here, all burners nice and lit. Turn it off back to the central position. Then it's the same concept for the grill. Now it may be a case that one side will light for the grill and then the other side will. So let's see if I can do this with one hand. So you can see the one side's lit up there. And then I'll just redo it here. So again, it's awkward doing that. There we go. And you can see both sides nice and lit. Then lastly, your oven. So again, press in, twist to the side, press your igniter, and it lights up just like so. Only other real thing to note, if you are travelling, make sure that you have this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all the burners are cold to the touch, unless you like shattered glass. And you can also travel with your gas hose on, but make sure that the bottle itself is turned off. Then just here we have your Dometic fridge. So open up using that spring mechanism there. To turn on the fridge, you press and hold in on this grey button, it will flash up and go to its most recent memory. Then when I open, you'll see blue light. If I want to change source, I press in on these arrow buttons. So press in, goes to auto. Now auto will automatically choose what the fridge thinks is the best source to use. So let's say, for example, your site were to go out on electric for a little bit, it would automatically switch over to gas. Then when I press in again, it's going to go over to that battery symbol. Now that is representative of your 13-pin electric, so when you are traveling with it. So when I press it, you'll see it begins to flash up and beep at me. So switch it over to gas. Now for gas, you'll gradually hear it tick in. Then once it's finished ticking, that means it is then lit. I wouldn't recommend putting on gas until you've checked through all of your hob, grill and oven. But just so we don't waste gas, let's flick over back to electric. Then we have the amount of power coming into the van. So it's currently set to 1, which is the least powerful, and it goes all the way up to a maximum of 5. 5 being the most powerful. Even on 5, it will take around 4 hours for the fridge to fully chill. So if you're going to put something in, chill it the night before, or just chill it whilst you're driving. Then when I turn it off, so press and hold in on the grey button again, no more lights, completely off. Does also have this little plastic bit to go over the top.